If your reality is upside down and backwards, don't fear. This video actually found you because what I'm going to do in this video is share with you what's going on because it's a lot deeper than you actually sense. And the one thing that you can do wrong is to continually do what you've done in the past to solve this. Because if I had to guess and your reality is the same as mine, is what's showing up is the pattern of everything that you were doing wrong so that you could correct it. And you're gonna know this video is for you is if you've been doing something that's worked and the result isn't what it used to be and it's not working anymore, that's not the universe telling you to work harder, to do more, to push through the pain, the stress, the pressure, the agony, whatever you're feeling. It's not wanting you to do that. What it wants you to do is the opposite. And this is the big key because what I want to share with you is exactly what I'm going through. And I think you're going through it too. So at least just give me a minute or two here to really make sure that this video is for you. So I'd say number one is like you're on this like growth curve in life. You've felt it for the past months, probably 6 months if it's similar to mine. Is like what you've been doing is going from this state of working out of shame, working out of guilt, which are two like really low vibrational emotions when you think about it. And yes, you could have been successful to some point with those, but ask yourself this: how much have you grown from the person who operated out of shame and guilt, and who are you today? And if you've grown at all from that shame and that guilt, trying to operate out of those emotions, and I keep pointing like they're down here because they're so low, is like if your vibration is up here and you've done the healing work, why are you still trying to do this stuff down here? You've ascended, and this is why you can't do this anymore. Because if you've ascended and you're trying to do stuff down here, like you're taking yourself from a high vibrational frequency to a low one. And that creates an energetic mismatch where it's like subconsciously you're like, I've grown, or consciously you could say you've grown, and subconsciously you're still down here. And that mismatch is like, imagine a rubber band. If I wish I had one, if we were to try to stretch a rubber band, that's a lot of fucking tension. And I use the word shame and guilt because those are the two that I'm navigating through. And I'm like 35 years old. And I'm like, holy shit. I got the chills on this one too. I was like, I've been feeling shame and guilt for 35 years. And that's been a foundational piece of my operating system that I didn't even know it was. And I just went on this deep healing journey with RTT and hypnosis. And I'm like, wait, and this comes from Albert Einstein, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I'm sitting here today, right before I filmed this video, and I had so much stress, so much anxiety, so much tension, so much overwhelm. And it was literally like, and I knew it was doing the healing work for me. I knew it was. And I wasn't like, let's get out of these uncomfortable feelings. What I chose to do was sit in them because I hate that discomfort. You probably do too. We all hate it, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't have a solution for this. And then I'm like, my mind started doing all these old things where it's like, well, for taxes, I'll do my taxes myself. And I'm like, why would I do my taxes myself? And it's like, because you got a scarcity problem right now. And I'm like, yeah. But like, what if I make one mistake? And then I started talking myself out of this old operating system of like, oh yeah, I'll just do it myself. And I was like, what if all my stress and anxiety and tension and overwhelm right now is from trying to do everything myself? And I was like, and I sat with myself and I was like, I think that's true. And then I was like, what? And then my mind went to this next thing that I think is the most helpful for you. And it's like something I found out today that has been available to me this whole time. But it's like, think about how much stress, anxiety, tension, and overwhelm have pulled me from this simple solution. As what I did was next was like, man, I need to identify these emotions. So I got on Google, and you can use AI. I chose to use Google to avoid AI, like trying to know me and understand me in different areas and attach different stuff that didn't have meaning. So I went to Google and was like, what emotion is, and I went through what I was feeling in my body. I was like, tightness in the neck, stiffness in the shoulders, this ability to shrink and freeze, and feeling tension headache. And it was like guilt. That's guilt. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm feeling guilty of asking for help when I have nothing, but I'm somebody who endlessly gives help to people when they have nothing. And I was like, interesting. And I think the old operating system that I let go of that I have you consider is like, are you operating out of a operating system that is based on stuff that you didn't have? So if you don't have resources, you do it yourself. But ask yourself this, because I think this is what really flipped it for me was like, if I don't have resources and I'm doing it myself, but I'm operating out of fatigue, overwhelm, and tension, like what am I actually solving? Because it seems like I'm creating more of the pain and agony that I need to get out of. And I believe in pushing ourselves to grow, but I feel like this is debilitating at this point. I don't feel like there's growth here. I feel like, and what I would share with you too is like, what is the last thing you want to do? Because it's probably the first thing you need to do. And when I asked myself that, I was like, all right, the last thing I need to do, number one is like hire somebody to do my taxes. And then I was like, man, that just solved everything. And then I was like, oh, but like, if I'm working out of a deficit right now, I'm not trying to add more to the deficit, but I was like, are you really pulling anything from the deficit? Because if what I had to do was balance two things between somebody else and myself. And when I brought myself into this situation, it got a little bit more clear for me because I was like, if I had to break it down like very simply and be vulnerable here, is like, I chose to do it myself based on the guilt that was the underlying emotion there. Is like, if I can't afford it, why would I pay somebody to do it? So then my default was to do it myself. But then in choosing to do it myself and following that algorithm, I felt tension increase. I felt overwhelm increase. I felt all those feelings of guilt increase. And I was like, well, if we were solving a problem, this would create a release, not more of the problem. And in choosing that as my solution and feeling more problems arise, I was like, I don't think that's a very good solution. So then what I did was I flipped it and was like, all right, let's just call the accountant and see if she could take me on right now. And they're like, yeah. And then I was like, by the way, I got a question. I dissolved the business and I had all these things. And then I mentioned them and they were like, yeah, she's going to have to call you back on that. And I was like, who was I to try to solve like accounting problems and not being an accountant and being like, I'll figure it out on top of all the other stuff I have to figure out. And I'm like, how far out of my genius was I pulling myself out of? And then all these feelings of discomfort and disease and show up. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And then here's me trying to operate in my old system of like, I got this. I'll do it myself. I'll figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. But I hit this spot that I hope I can share with you. And it's like, where there's a will, there's a way. That's my old operating system. This whole like, I'll figure it out and do it myself. That's my old operating system. This whole like, I'm not worthy for people to help me when I don't have it. That's my old operating system. And I'm advertently putting these out there in front of you to share with you the depth of conversation I had to have with myself. And when I had it with myself and I was able to look at myself and be like, dude, the problem is you're trying to do all this yourself because it's out of guilt and shame. Like this is all a response due to guilt and shame being on the surface versus what your intuition is actually guiding you to do. And that is a mind fuck in its own. And if you're there, like this took me like 3 days to get here. Okay. So give yourself time and space to number one, get there. Number two is like what I really did to identify this and what I want to share in this video is what I realized, and this is soundboarding to a friend, was when I don't know what to do, I just do it myself because I'm like, why would I pull somebody else into this mess? Number one, that's the first mistake is trying to do it all myself. Done. And then I looked at all the stuff that was stressing me out and was like, what am I trying to do myself right now? Well, number one, I tried to do my social media strategy. Number two, I tried to do all my content and posting. Number three, I was trying to do my taxes. Number four, I was like, what else was I trying to do myself? Well, in a nutshell, I was trying to do everything myself. And then I was like, wait, why are we trying to do everything ourselves? And when I had that conversation, I was like, well, because we don't have resources. And when we don't have resources, we need to do everything ourselves. And I was like, maybe that's the test. And I think if I had to guess, that is the test. And what a thumbnail shot. And it's like, and knowing that that was the problem, I did the exact opposite to solve it because my brain was like, though this doesn't work, if we do this and this is this operating system that we've outgrown and is outdated. That is what we mentioned at the beginning of the video. And see how we landed here at 9 minutes? That's how much intellectual and processing is involved to get to this layer. Because the old me would have been like, just do what we normally do. And I'm like, does it work? No. So why would we do what hasn't worked? Again, expecting different results. That creates insanity. And insanity on top of stress, overwhelm, anxiety is just adding more to the fire rather than to the solution. So then I was like, all right, so what I'm feeling is my brain is showing me everything that's upside down and backwards is a outdated operating system that isn't working for us anymore. And my ego's over here like, I know this isn't right, but we don't know what to do right now. We're dysregulated. So let's do what we've done in the past to regulate. And that is the fucking trap. If I could share anything with you, that is the fucking trap. Do not go down that way. And what I'm doing is literally the exact opposites, because what I know, what I feel I know, and what I believe to be true is my brain is showing me this new operating pattern. So the old one was like this, right? This one might be like this right now, or it seems like it's like this, because essentially what I'm having to do is break these old patterns that were the operating system that wasn't working and was causing all this tension, stress, and anxiety. And by still trying to follow that and everything being upside down and backwards, I think that's a clue that that was not working for me. And if that system is falling out and dying, we need to replace it with a new system. And something new feels unsure, unsafe. It feels like, I don't know. But that is my guiding light through all this, which I know sounds insane. But in a sense, think of like insanity as doing what didn't work and expecting different results, versus sanity to me would be being open to new things and the unknown to see what the new operating system is and how it can benefit us the most right now. And I'm sitting here like, even in saying that, I hope, and that was near 11:11 on the timer. It's like, to anybody watching this video is, I hope that part really sinks in. By being open to the unknown, which means we haven't experienced it before, there could be some fear. There could be some fear of judgment. What if this doesn't work? There could be some fear of the unknown of like, what if we're creating more problems to what we're actually trying to create a solution towards, which is valid. But then the flip of that is, well, if we go back and do what we feel to do, but there's tension and everything's upside down and backwards, to me, that's a negative feedback loop. That's the universe, God, source saying, don't do this. And the more you do it, the more it's going to cause you to feel all this way. But if you're open to trusting and surrendering that we have a solution for you, and even though you don't know what will happen, you don't know if others will judge you, you don't know anything, but if you're open to this and trust it and surrender to it, I bet we create all the solutions for you. And just in saying that, I'm like, damn, it took me 3 days to figure this out. But in saying that too, I'm like, damn, I'm glad it didn't take 4, because the stress, the anxiety, the pressure, the overwhelm was continuing to grow. And what I endlessly share with people is like, if those feelings are growing, it's not that you're needing to work harder and sit with it more to expand yourself. It's probably showing you that all this stuff that you're doing isn't working for you anymore. It's debilitating you. And as soon as you can trust and let it go and be open to new solutions, those new solutions are going to appear. And when they appear, they're going to start to feel right as soon as you lean into them. And that's what I did today. I leaned into them and I was like, oh man, this all feels, I don't know what to do. This feels terrible. And whenever I get to that feeling, I also get curious and I'm like, what will help this? What, like, obviously, what I'm thinking and knowing and operating from isn't going to work. So please, please, God, please, angels, please, spirit guides, please, anybody who's energetic and around me, to please help me out. And as soon as I did that, I noticed like stuff start to shift. And then as soon as I noticed stuff start to shift, I got a little bit more curious and was like, so my it wasn't this like I need to work harder, I need to work stronger, I need to be more like I'm fatigued, I'm exhausted, and I'm overwhelmed. Okay, what releases those feelings is the better question. And it was like asking for help. Okay, so in asking for help and being open to help from other people, oh my gosh, it's like it solved it instantly. And I'm sitting over here, it's like something that was debilitating me and stressing me out and causing tension an hour ago is leaving me feeling grounded, feeling relaxed, feeling like I found the solution. And it wasn't like, here, take it. I don't know what to do. It was like, man, I've tried everything and I've done anything and everything. And I'm exhausted. I'm fatigued. I'm overwhelmed. I need some help. And as soon as I admitted that, like help showed up. And even when I was like, man, I got to call the accountant on April 13th and taxes are due on the 15th. I wonder how this goes. And they're like, yeah, we got you. We'll have to file an extension. And I'm like, oh, cool. An extension works for me. Thank you. And it's like all these things that I was trying to do by myself and endlessly try to solve. It's like the solutions were there outside of myself, but I had to look outside of myself for it and stop trying to do it all myself. And you're seeing like there's like, why would I try to do everything myself? Back to guilt and shame. It's like if guilt and shame are present and we're trying to do it all myself, that is out of guilt or shame. So if we're trying to create these solutions and we're operating out of a system built off of guilt and shame, like we're going to create more chaos and shitty experiences for ourselves and others versus like, all right, now that we know that we've been operating out of guilt or shame, in order to stop out operating out of guilt or shame is to stop creating solutions that are coming from operating out of guilt or shame. So number one, we need to remove guilt and shame, which I would say RTT, hypnosis, sovereign somatic systems is a great thing. I can link that below. But it's like if you don't have that solution, then you need to stop doing everything that is coming out of the operating system that is a response to guilt or shame or these other vibrations and emotions. And once you can stop operating out of that, so that means stopping everything and being like, I'm going to freeze. I'm going to actually be the one that chooses to freeze here until these feelings are gone. Then, once I'm centered and grounded in myself, what I'm going to do next is think, what is the one thing I can do to not go back into this operating pattern of guilt and shame? And it's like, I probably need to do something new, something different, something I haven't done before. Or it's like the simple solution to me is always like, what is that last thing I want to do? Because it's the first thing I need to do. And what I needed to do was ask for help. And I was like, I need to ask for help. So I asked for help. And then in asking for help, I created clarity for myself. And in creating clarity for myself, I opened up to new solutions. And by opening up to these new solutions, I was like, well, what happens here? And I was like, I have no idea. And I used that as my guiding light because I'm like, wait, if I have no idea what happens here, that could probably be a solution because that means I'm operating out of a new pattern. And a new pattern, like I said, it feels stressful. It feels like the wrong thing because you're like, I don't know what to do. But if it's something new and everything that you've been doing is upside down and backwards, that means by doing something new that you haven't done before, you're probably going to create a new solution. And then if everything that you've been doing is upside down and backwards and creating more tension, well, stop doing that. Just stop that. It's not going to work. Try something new. And it's like your ego's like, don't do something new. But I'm telling you, try something new. Figure it out in your own way. Do one new thing and see what if that changes this pattern of upside down and backwards. 1, 2, 3 on the oh, that was 1703. Man, I'm seeing shit. But it was like this whole thing is just like by trying something new, you're probably gonna find feelings that create effortless success, right? Because it's like this old operating system of shame and guilt's like, you got to work harder, you got to work more, you got to do it all yourself to have success. We know that's not true. So, what if I ask for help, I trust others, and I lean into them? And by doing so, I know it's triggering me, but I'm like, let's breathe into that. Okay, that's starting to release the tension even in saying this and performing this video to you, okay? So by doing something new that we're unsure of and we don't know how it's going to finish, by doing that and leaning into it and breathing into it, it's creating clarity, it's creating relief. And relief is what we're actually looking for here, and clarity is too. So by doing that, even though it's something new and we're unsure of how it's going to result, man, it feels like we're creating solutions. And that's where I'm going to leave this video for you is to get to that point of if everything is upside down and backwards, you're probably operating from an outdated, operating system. And if it's giving you everything upside down and backwards, that's a good clue that it is not working right now for you. Your reality is upside down and backwards, which means that you're in this new operating system. And instead of doing everything that you once knew to work that was stressful and it didn't really work, like stop trying to do that anymore. Stop, take a pause, take a deep breath. Get out of your operating system. You got to break this system. So, like, break the entire system. Go for a walk. Do something different out of your day to break up the old pattern. And you're going to have some resistance in that. Just connect to the breath. Breathe through it. Every time you feel that distress, the tension, focus on prolonging your exhales. This is going to bring you to a softer, more relaxed feeling in your body. That's what we're aiming towards. Green light to anything that brings you to that. And I know you got all this other shit to do, but you got to let that go and you got to you got to break this pattern. So you're in this new operating system and you're like, okay, what do I do now? What is the last thing you want to do? You got to ask yourself that and you got to be honest. And for me, it was like, I need to get my taxes done. And I'm like, cool, I need to get my taxes done. The I feels off there. I don't need to get my taxes done. I need to hire somebody to do my taxes. Yeah, it feels a little better. Shit. Okay. Now we're making progress. Okay. And we're doing this step by step, and you got to dissect it step by step and just simply, maybe that's the operating system here is break the old pattern, stop it, do whatever you got to do to break it. Okay. And then once you break that pattern, You got to ground and center, connect to your breath, connect to yourself. And then when you feel this clarity start to come in, ask yourself, what is the last thing I need to do? And what that answer is use that answer. So whatever that thing is, say, all right, that's the last thing I need to do. Who is around me that can do it? And when you have all these things that come in and are like, oh, la, 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 just know that's anxiety. Let it go. Just be like, okay, I hear you, but, and then state how you feel in this moment. And based on those feelings, what is the most probable solution? And the data and analytics might not allow you to believe it is one, but it is a solution. And allow yourself to lean into the unknown because you're going to have to go down a different pathway you've never gone down before at a time and where your resources might seem like they're not here. That's okay. That's what you're leaning into is trust, surrender, and allowing yourself to be open to new opportunities or new solutions. And by leaning into those new solutions, you aren't going to be left high and dry. You're actually going to create a solution for yourself that'll blow yourself away as soon as you allow yourself to ground and center and trust it. Because as soon as you trust and believe it, which is the hardest part, believe me, I know this, but you do it by connecting to your breath and soothing out your nervous system. And as soon as you can reach the state of your new operating system, everything will solve itself. And it's getting there that is going to be the hard part. But just slow down, break the old pattern. As soon as you identify that you're in the old pattern, stop it. Take time. You have all the time in the world. Be like, nope, we are not going down that way. And what I do to get this pattern to operate sooner is like, I'm not fucking moving until you show me where the new way is. And I'm going to sit here and I know we have all this stuff to do. And I allow that pressure to build in order to create solutions and clarity of something I haven't thought of. And in doing that, it's creating all the solutions for me. All I have to do is be patient, sit back, relax, and let everything get handled for me. Because I know by stopping and doing nothing, I'm creating every solution to work for me. Because I have done anything and everything and absolutely every solution I can think of, I've done. And it's living with these backwards and upside down results. I wonder why. Maybe because it's telling me to stop that. So by stopping and doing nothing and starting to solve these one by one, I'm looking for that positive feedback in my reality as something happens. Maybe it's the tension, maybe it's the overwhelm, maybe it's the stress, maybe it's the anxiety, maybe all those start to fade away. And as they start to fade away, what I'm doing is writing down these new things on a piece of paper of like, this is my old operating system, this is my new one. And by these being my new ones, I know these things are going to feel off, they're going to feel wrong because we haven't done them before. It's the unknown, but I know that everything that I've been doing is wrong and backwards and upside down. So what we're going to do is these things that feel off, backwards, wrong, and upside down and see if they start creating clarity for me. See if they start bringing me ease. See if they start relieving my stress. See if they start releasing this overwhelm because I know that they will. And as they start to, I'm paying attention to it. And by paying attention to it, I'm learning and opening up to my new operating system. And I'm getting curious as to what it actually is and how it operates because what I know is what I was doing isn't working anymore. And by being open and trusting and surrendering to what's coming in, I am finding every solution that I need right now. And I'm also sharing those with you. So as you find these solutions in your life, I want you to write them down and I want you to find some way to share them, whether it's a video like this, whether it's simply with a friend in a conversation, whether it's creating a vlog post. Because if you're in this problem that I'm in and we're getting through this together, what we're meant to do is be the teacher of this and share this with whoever's next. And I don't know if your clients are like mine, but this is a problem I can see them all having. So by getting ahead of it and knowing that I'm solving it, I'm empowering myself and then I'm empowering you and others by creating this video and sharing it. So I think we're at the end of this video. Thank you guys for being here and helping me even soundboard and process. But I think I also created solutions for you. And if I did, give this video a like, give this video a comment, share with me how this helped you, what you worked through, what clarity I brought you, or what clarity you can send me. I'm grateful for it. And thank you guys so much. Peace out. Have a good day. And let's solve this problem together. Woo-wee.